Alright, as I said, let's check what happened with Baranor. This can take place technically at any point after, you know, he managed to get away from Gorgoroth, but you know, might as well see what happens now, especially because it doesn't really have like a conclusive type of ending, it just has that. So, Baranor and his men decided to take away Baranor and Adriel separated a bit, so unfortunately we were not going to see her in this DLC. But the contingency with Baranor decided to take a look at an eastern region of Mordor, Lithiad. So we'll let to see what happens. It's a very dusty region. Oh!
Whoa! What the heck?
Run! Get off the sand!
It's all sand!
Keep calm! Keep moving!
Where?
Anywhere that isn't sand!
Let's try to get to on higher ground.
You know... Whoa!
Well, shit. And that was the Desolation of Mordor.
You tried, Baranor. You tried.
Oh.
You tried your best. It's just that your best was shit.
Well, at least someone or something seems to have saved him.
How are we alive? He was getting
I
chomped
thought,
to the point of bleeding.
I thought that was a game over.
Well,
Me
that can be
too.
still death animation. And hey, it's Torvin!
Hey!
I was hoping it wasn't a corpse I was dragging home. Be a bit weird, that, eh?
Yes, also voiced again by Adam Crossdale.
I see he's grown more of his beard.
Yes.
I'm sorry, lad. They weren't as lucky as you.
Again, how did he survive that? We saw blood literally being drawn. Torvin must have come in at the right
And he has
moment.
also a gift for us. A Luminorian wrist
That little darling's a
gizmo.
bit twitchy, but she should get you up to my camp no
It
time.
has a couple of gadgets built inside. Essentially, it will be, you know, your main
myself.
tool for the job in this
Worked
DLC.
out all the hitches. Hitches? Word of advice about
Is
the camp.
Torvin,
If you
like,
don't heights, don't look down. And if you don't like
did we get to see
warhorses,
any other returning
don't look up.
characters from the previous
No.
game aside from...
No, so only Torvin. And like I said, he's not here for a long while. Like, he's present, but his presence is not that pivotal. Anyway, there are a couple of things that are different from the game. For instance, since Baranor does not have an ingrow power and is not as acrobatic as Talion, the game gives him the grappling hook from the Batman Arkham series.
Yeah, like, that's
Not even
legit.
kidding. Context-sensitive, you know, surfaces plus L1 grappling hook. Whee!
Huh. Like, I'm guessing that either the dev companies traded notes or WB definitely saved
I get
over
the idea
some
was
stuff.
instead the team wanted to be cheeky because it's not like the only reference that we get, trust me.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, we've already pointed out some other gameplay similarities as well. Like the shield work.
But yeah, that's also the entire shtick. Remember, Baranor does not have a ring of power, you know, and that means that he's also, you know, technically weaker than Talion and mortal, meaning also that if you get killed in this, so that's game over. You have to restart the thing from the beginning. So it's more of an arcade kind of experience, but more on this in a second.
So, what are you doing so far from Gondor?
Looking for the Vanishing Sons. They're a mercenary company.
Yes, I hired a few of them to look for Numenorian bits. Now I owe their leader a few mercenaries. I've got just the thing to get you to where they are. Just don't tell them where I am.
Essentially, Torvin will stay camping on this
Just
edge
run
of
off
this
the edge of
cliff.
the cliff.
There you go. Oh.
Run off the edge of the cliff.
And here, these are
The
the
leap of
places to
faith.
look around for more
Sort of.
Numenorian goodies.
And Torvin also gives us a bit of a tip of where other Numenorian artifacts can be
Go on,
present.
then. I've used this thing myself.
But let's
Bump or a
let's
scratch?
try this on. Essentially, since again this Baron is different from Talion, he has a method of transportation that's made more practical. A parachute.
Okay, I know this just came out the same year as Breath of the Wild, but gosh dang the similarities. I love Torvin.
It will be basically our upgrade station. Essentially, we gather the Numenorian artifacts, we return to him, and he will give them to us. But more in a bit about him, because I will dedicate this first part in actually gathering those. But yeah, the main bulk is that again, Baranor has a also slight different type of moveset than Talion. So this DLC actually make you the money that you spent well, because you know you actually get a complete different experience than in the main game.
Oh, cool! So the parachute is insta-usable.
Yes, thankfully. So anyway, he's here to talk about the Vanishing Soma, Haradrim mercenary company.
My name is Baranor. I am second captain of the Gondorian Guard at Minas Ithil.
Minas Ithil has fallen some time ago, I believe.
I am seeking soldiers.
Well, it's difficult to be a captain without them. Lucky for you, I've got the finest warriors in all of Middle-earth.
He sounds so nonchalant.
Yeah,
carry
that's
coin of
the
any kind?
thing.
So,
This guy tends to
Some.
bring a bit more
going to need a
humor
lot
to the
more than
script,
some.
something that really feels a bit dissonant
What are your plans for the raid? I've seen
to a
enough plan to retake
Tolkien
Minas Ithil.
product.
I'm planning to take Shindra.
I mean,
His region.
No. That sounds like the work for heroes. All I can offer you are mercenaries. Look, why don't you come back when you have some more money or sense? Morad?
That's Baran's real name.
How do you know that name?
You haven't changed.
I remember a boy
Suddenly yelling.
Small boys,
Again,
he had a lot to prove.
His humor is so
One day he decided that he was
dissonant
going to
from even
explore
the
the
main
caves of
game.
Umbar.
Not even sure if I'd call it humor.
Lucky for him,
It's
he had a brother.
Well, again, it's more about
courageous
also
older
the
brother who was
physicality
sent
of
to
the
look for him, and
of
by
this
the time
character
that
too.
champion reached him,
Like
he
it
was
feels like
moments away
I
from
get
being
it what they wanted to do because it's like feels like I'm watching something completely different, and you know it is. But it's still supposed to be taking place in the same universe, and it really doesn't feel the same.
wait.
I am Sarkar.
So he's his brother.
Sarkar.
A long lost brother, yes. Serka, let me check his voice actor.
That's kind of a major revelation to just drop there, but okay.
But remember, Baranor is from Harad and he was separated when he was a child,
The
so...
village is raided, homes are looted, mothers and fathers are slaughtered, screaming tears.
Orcs.
Mercenaries.
How is it?
I should be thankful, though, of course, eh? Not every
That's
boy
not
gets
Mr.
the chance
T.
to be raised among such a merry band of killers and thieves.
Mr. T in Lord of the Rings. I would love to see that.
I pity the fool who takes
that sounds
away
like
from
that sounds like the end. That sounds like one of those recess jokes. Like, and then he said, "That's not Mr. T. That's my wife." Ha 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 ha.
I'm not sure what to think of this character so far. I mean,
Serka
he's-
is voiced by Usman Ali. Let me see, I think it's a TV actor himself. So.
Oh yeah, I know him.
He was the
Yeah, I
hook-handed
recognise
man
him,
in
yeah.
a series of fortunate events, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
Huh.
The Netflix show, yeah.
Also, anyway,
Interesting.
the main gimmick of this also is instead of having to recruit, because Baranor does not brand, you know, you will actually need to recruit mercenaries, which, you know, you need coinage for. So that's the entire gimmick. By doing actions and, you know, getting stronger in the game, this particular DLC, you gain money, and with that you will be able to recruit mercenaries that function exactly like the captains, you know. They're just humans instead of being orcs. And because of doing that, you will be able to, you know, expand your sort of a sphere of influence, and eventually you will be able to take on the Fortress of Rachel, which is very well guarded. 6 warships and a very, very nasty overlord. Anyway, the other main gimmick, like I said, is to find the Numenorian artifacts in order to give them to Thorvin. But I think I will get to that in a second. because first I wanted to check out the structure of the fortress. But again, remember the important part: Baranor is more fragile than Talion. You cannot throw recklessly your life at that. Consequently, the Nemesis system, while working the same as in the main game, does not take into account your deaths. Because otherwise, you will have to promote the captain ability to respond, but you don't. So instead, it will take into account how many mercenaries do you recruit and how much coinage do you have. On higher difficulties, everything will be reset to 0. On easy and normal, instead, some stuff will be kept for not resetting completely your progress. And even the tech tree of the Baranor is different. You have the upgrades that you can get from Torvin, which I will get them in a second. The stuff that you can upgrade on your own, and stuff that gets from mandate. But here's the cool thing: you do not have a way to track down like with the Hadir with the GPS for your artifacts. You need to do old school and have this illustration from Torvin to use as a reference, which appoint landmarks that you find in the region. And if you manage to spot them, you will find automatically the treasure there. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, is this like a pixel hunt, like in old classic Zelda? Yes and no. The monuments are still there, and you're not given the GPS point on your minimap. But the treasures will automatically still be there and having a normal icon. So it's not even a case of you have to dig it there on the place. Like, if you get around in the general area and you see something glowing, you found them, basically. Anyway, Baranor also has a different type of projectile instead of having the Elven Shot. Obviously, it's not as just one, similar to the Elven Shots, but instead, the gizmo that he has on his left arm works as a crossbow, an automatic crossbow. And the more artifacts you gain from you give to Torvin, the better it be, because it unlocks different type of projectiles. You can both fire a normal type of projectiles or a bomb even. So,
I wonder, can it fire the chain out and you use that as a whip too?
That's one of the upgrades, which entails into 2 different methods I will demonstrate. One of them is essentially a sweeping move. And another, yes, it's the Scorpion get over here move, even if it's not, as fast rapid. But yes, you can perform that. But here's another thing in terms of reference. See if it sounds familiar to you, Pedro. That kind of bracelet on the left arm of Baranor can automatically form itself, with a clanking sound into a shield. Essentially, okay, while not completely, they were developed around the same time, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they took inspiration from God of War 2018 for it.
Well, considering it came out in 2017, maybe it's where you were around.
Maybe later on, way later on. I think the next year.
Oh right.
Because
Right. Okay.
They decided they weren't impressed enough with themselves, so
I guess that makes
about
sense.
improving on it. How could a people who soar like birds fall so far?
And yeah, instead of having, artifacts or data logs, the audio logs from Torvin come from finding the Numenorian artifacts that you have to give him. So they combine the collectibles with your upgrade system.
I can't wait to see what the dwarf does with this. Or maybe I can.
So, I'm guessing in regards to the way this campaign goes, do what you want until you do the siege battle, in which case
it's a bit more linear, but it's a bit more linear than in the main game, admittedly, but it still, gives you a degree of freedom, and you can still fuck around with the captains if you want.
And that's why I said I assume that the campaign essentially ends after you do the siege battle, or at the very least...
Any we have today.
So how deep are we going to go in bouts with the fact that Baranor and Circa are brothers?
Oh, that's going to be one of the main focus of this DLC's plot. Again, the cool thing about this is this is completely detached from the main game, as in Talion and Celebrimbor will not even be mentioned once in the entire vision. This is very completely detached, and Baranor is the main focus of this, without having to mention much about what happened previously. So it's squarely focused around him, but I don't know. Like in terms of story, is mostly focused upon these brotherly bonds that he has with Cerca that used to know, but now he has to reconnect with. But again, to me, the main bit about this is how the humor is treated. It's still a serious story that talks about, you know, how these humans want to take over the orcs, and how Baranor essentially takes what is essentially a mercenary group that will do whatever they want and try to, you know, spur them to do something good with their life, which again is part of the game trying to wanting to rehabilitate a bit more the image of a Haradrim instead of being, you know, ruthless, you know, chaotic evil, you know, mercenaries. Instead trying to say, but yeah, we can still do something good about it.
Out in people. That and their guts as they puke themselves.
That's the thing, like, when it comes to the whole, you know, out of place humor regard, I mean, granted it's been years, so, and maybe that shit wasn't in the original book, because when I saw the first Hobbit movie, there was quite a lot of, dwarf body humor in that movie.
I get what you mean. Give me a second. You will also find the corpses of orcs cut around with those icons, and you can gather things. Another cool thing that you can find is augments for different parts of your equipment, which act as perks. It's kind of similar to, how can I describe this? It's a bit similar to the rune system of the first game, because those are properly perks, but this is more busted because you can get a lot, and, you know, being a bit randomly generated seems to be similar to the Nemesis system. That means that you can make Baranor very powerful very quickly as well.
The soldiers of this ancient empire wielded the mightiest blades, the most powerful bows. But, as in most things, they weren't satisfied there. They devised clever ways to burn their enemies, to terrify and sow chaos among them. Any craftsman pours his strength and wit into his creations. To that, the Numenorians added madness. Oh, and fire.
I can't imagine what function this device could possibly have. But I suppose that's part of the fun.
I personally am fine with circus humor, but in regards to why it may feel different, I feel like it's because this DLC is going for sort of a more upbeat tone. That's not to say that we haven't had upbeat moments in the main story, but like right down to the setting and colors right now, we're being brighter in this DLC.
Well, it's not Lucy's favorite place because this region is desertic.
In the desert. But yeah, no, I mean, I can get what they're trying to go for with Circa here. I feel like circus humor isn't inherently bad, but to put it like this, let's imagine if, per se, in a completely serious tone, suddenly you get something funny. Now, granted, sometimes that's meant to, you know, uplift the mood, but if it's a brand of humor that doesn't feel on brand, I can get how that may rub some people the wrong way. Me, personally, though, I feel like circus humor works fine. Like, we've had bouts of humor before in the Lord of the Rings series. To be honest, that circus is fine.
It is, we were making a comparison with The Hobbit. I can tell, yeah, it's a bit better than, you know, the humor that they had with Bombur, as in, you know, his fat laugh. So at least there is a bit, it's a bit better, but a couple of times it's a bit cringe-inducing to me.
I think a good way to put how I feel about Circa, he's like a good version of Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending.
Well, again, you haven't seen completely a lot of what the story has to entail, so just the initial cutscene, but so that's what we'll have to find out eventually anyway, but
I was mainly talking about the actor's mannerisms with the more humorous and then
so let me check the rest of
motions.
his, okay, he also voiced one of the, he voiced one of the dwarves in God of War Ragnarok, but I forgot which specific one this is. Maybe it's one of the NPCs that you find in the early world that you explore, the realm of the dwarves.
Just as important as strength are stealth and speed. If you're invisible, there's no defense. If you're silent, there's no call for help. Reckon no one mastered this better than the Numenorians. No one's seen or heard them in ages.
Torvin should be able to use this to make my gear more deadly. Whether to me or the orcs remains to be seen.
Countering enemies is great. What's even better is stopping them dead. And I do mean dead. The Numenorians knew that by using your opponent's momentum against him, you turn his opening strike into yours.
Alright, so what's this we've got?
Another gizmo. Don't worry, I will install them, I think, all of these in this part after I collected all of them.
This thing looks like it
I
could
was
be a
actually
real
wondering,
life
is just this part the Baranor DLC, or will this be
No,
spanning
4
over
in
multiple
total.
parts? Okay.
Again, the DLC episodes are a bit more, even more lengthy than the ones of Shadow of Mordor. I can get why. Again, similar to the first, even what they said for the vanilla game. You know, this was developed for a higher generation console, to begin with, so it did not have any restrictions. So that's really cool. But anyway, I checked also when it comes to Sarka's voice actor, Usman Alain. Apparently, he was also the character of Azav in Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Oh, okay, cool.
He was also present. Where was it? He has done a couple of other video games roles, but more recently he's been doing TV and some minor animated stuff. He was a minor character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.
Wow, the traversal is even more like Arkham City in this one. Like the gliding,
it will get even better. Trust me, with the upgrades.
like with the gliding comboing into the zip lining. That is, yeah, that's grade A Arkham material. Not that I'm complaining. It's good
There you go.
traversal.
This is the upgrade that lets you perform the get over here move.
Well, the
And there you go. He was also the voice actor for Modok in Marvel's Avengers.
Instead of making your way to your opponent, bring him to you, and then smack him. Goes without saying.
These Numenorians were either brilliant or diabolical. And actually, it needn't be one or the other.
Alright, you can actually give Torvin, each upgrade separately if you want, but I decided to get them all at once anyway.
Probably fetch the big skillet. Ah, find something?
Anyway, there you go. You get everything upgraded all at once, and you look at quite the interesting perks. So, like your shield can turn into fire. You can perform, like I said, the Digger over here move. You can perform a sweep move with one of his special combos. But then there's my favorite. Your grappling hook turns into the one from Arkham City, as in while you're, ramping up, you press X and Baranor gets launched and automatically opens up the parachute. You will see it soon enough. But anyway, another upgrade that I got, it lets me perform also a sort of, what's it called?
Ramming?
Sorry?
The move he did there looked like it was a ramming maneuver.
No, I was referring to one previously, the one with the crossbow. Essentially, it's similar to Red Dead Redemption's, you know, shoot 'em out kind of
You'll
move.
have some fun, lad.
You will be seeing that also soon enough.
Okay.
Well, nice seeing you, Torvin. Unfortunately, again, unless you get here again, you know, to get some extra quotes, Torvin will only play a part at the very end of the DLC.
I always found the lack of uses of Torvin weird. Like, granted, maybe he wasn't an uber fan favorite, but he's...
I'm just glad that he's here to begin with, because I wasn't expecting him to show up.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to have him here. I'm talking more so about the course of these two games. Like, again, Torvin seems like someone who seemed obvious to be more of a recurring character. I mean, it's nice to see him.
Let's get the first mission with Serka, essentially assaulting an orc caravan to gain some coinage to pay the mercenaries.
So will this be Baranor rediscovering his roots?
Okay, yes and no, in a sense of, you know, reconnecting with his family, but more like elevating their war proficiency from just mercenaries to become an actual army.
Tell me, brother, what do you see?
Orcs, wagons, more orcs.
Do you know what I see? Coin, fortune, and enough danger to make it fun.
It seems you have better eyes than I do.
Looks too, but who's to attack?
I suppose this coin you speak of is in those wagons. Those
I get what they're going for. It's
like
sort
I'm
of
watching an episode of The Office.
The Overlord can't know that this is us.
Which one?
He is paying
Yes.
to keep these deliveries safe.
You're working for the orcs?
Look, in this line of work, I can't choose where my coin
The
comes
orcs
from.
are paying him?
Yes,
You're going to need my men.
and Baranor, just as us, Baranor is both, you know, surprised and not in a positive way, and yeah.
Like,
it's more of a case of the orcs pay them to stay put.
weird. Like, given how orcs tend to act, I'm honestly surprised there were some orcs who decided to have diplomacy.
This region is detached a bit from Mordor, so Sauron's influence is not spread really at this point.
A wereworm? What, is that someone who turns into a worm at the full moon?
No, it's more clear to me that the people here watched Dune, or at least read the books, so they actually like the idea, so they wanted to have... Again, I do wonder also if they wanted to reference the giant worm that were used to excavate the tunnels in The Hobbit, even if those were not really a book thing, but more of a movie thing, but whatever. Anyway, the gimmick is that shooting those bits of sand, a werewolf will show up immediately and insta-kill an orc. Watch out, because if you get close to them and if you fail the QTEs, you get insta-killed instead.
Oh boy. Well, they can't blame us. It's an act of God.
Again, combining all the mechanics, when it comes to this particular DLC in terms of gameplay, it's more similar to old-school Zelda when it comes to, you know, to managing resources, having to deal with the enemy than in the base game. And actually, again, I genuinely like it because it's a breath of fresh air, and like I said, also, Baranor is actually a relatively, interesting character to see, his story being continued, and what he can do, and also to have a different gameplay style in town instead of being a carbon copy. I also like his sword design. It's not technically a scimitar, but it has a curved edge to it.
Alright. Oh, look at that tail. I'm still looking at the sail. And look at that tail. You're in luck. For reference to Raphael and Dark Force for only 6 euros.
No.
Exactly. Oh, you're telling me, Ted, that this is not even worth 6 euros for an easy platinum.
I mean, I guess, but I'd rather have the game being gifted than anything.
Sure.
Let me put it this way: if it gets to be for some reason, there you go. I performed to get already. If it gets to be present for some reason on the PS Plus catalog, for a monthly free game, I will not actually refuse that. So there is that.
Maybe I'll just give it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll just get crazy and give you a 6 euros card for so you can get it.
I guess that's potentially better value than Dead's using his superpower of buying people copies of Balan Wonderworld.
Well, for me, it was actually Theo who bought that for me on Steam. So
yeah.
Again,
you need to keep the tradition up.
I argue that's mainly because Dead didn't get to you first. Like,
it was funny, Jova.
Oh yeah. That's the funny thing. He would have given me a copy too, but Dead had already gotten me a copy of Balan Wonderworld.
Alright,
so
let's check what are in these cards.
This coin is from Minisito.
Oh.
Oh.
So it's a bit closer for Baranor.
Blood money, essentially. Yeah. The orcs are paying his brother with money literally taken from his old kingdom. That's,
Of course, for Circa, this means literally nothing, because being an Regiment and a mercenary, it means jack shit. It's just a matter of how much coin do you have, rather than, the fact that where the money comes from. And he himself will say that after we're done with this mission.
At least it wasn't like bison dollars.
All this
God, bison dollars.
Going to... There you go, let me see if I can perform. There we go. It will get more elaborate as it goes on, but essentially the Baranor intelligence was slow move where you select the enemies and then consumes all the projectiles.
This is all Gondorian coin.
And now it's Easterling coin.
Let's get these wagons back to the Oasis. Today, we get paid.
These caravans have to stop.
Yeah, Baranor decides that he doesn't want caravans to arrive, so he wants to take a bit of a drastic decision.
Oh boy.
Or you'll bring the Rumbler here.
The Rumbler? Sounds like just what I need. It's time to spill some...
Now, Baranor, I know you're upset, but let's not do something that might potentially get our allies killed too.
It's more of a case of also the... he's thinking about the situation. There you go. Yeah, if you don't manage to save the QTs, it happens like in the cutscene at the beginning of the DLC, and Baranor gets dragged down and it's game over. But essentially, yeah, we need to actually spill some more grog in order to attract a particularly big werewolf.
Oh boy, one even bigger than the norm. That legit was Dirge's debut, and my god, you guys show up a lot.
Well, I forgot what was the precise quote. We got the worms, the likeness of which God has never seen, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll need to rewatch David Lynch's Dune at some point. Anyway, by attracting the biggest werewolf is, Baranor makes sure that the entrance to Lithiad gets buried, meaning that no one enters and no one exits anymore.
Sure sucks to be any innocent bystanders who might want to leave.
Cut off the enemy's supply line.
That was also my supply line.
I need to keep the coin flowing. Do you see those men back there? Those are not soldiers. Their loyalty is bought, and when they stop getting paid, their blades are no longer under my control.
These are marauder orcs. When we take their fortress, you'll get half their fortune, and I'll use the other half to pay you and your men for whatever
Yeah,
comes
but
next.
what happens when it eventually runs out?
All right. You know, coin is one thing. That fortress is another. Oh, I hope you've got a great plan.
Is it wise for him to be yelling this in front of those guys? I know that they're technically bought, but dude, you might have given them some bad ideas.
On the punchline, after the mission is completed.
Now I just need a plan.
Wah, wah.
Oh dear.
Baranor, you really should think this through.
Yeah, you really should.
But anyway, what I unlocked is essentially a rally skill, which is essentially the equivalent of a super mod. Instead of, being a big attack, it's essentially something that boosts morale of your nearby allies and, refills your health if you upgraded enough. Alright, in the next part, we continue the Desolation of Mordor and see if Baranor can finally get a plan. See ya.
See ya.
So yeah.